will do is that you will learn this chapter properly, because you will have to prepare yourself for the midterm examination. So the topic or chapter which we will discuss today is chapter number 2, lifestyle of animals. It is present at your book page number 15. So all the students, please open your books at page number 15. First of all, when we talk about the lifestyle of animal, we think about their habitat. The term habitat, what does it mean? Habitat is a place where the animal have shelter, food, protection, and the animal like them, means their fellows. So the place which is suitable to find out the food, to find out the shelter, and to survive them properly, that can be the habitat. For example, if we talk about the fish, the habitat of the fish can be the sea, habitat of the fish can be the river, pond, means water. Water is the habitat of fish. A lot of animals live in the forests or land, and some live in deserts, some live in water. So these places can be the habitat of their and for example, if a lion is living in a jungle, so the den where it lives, that and its surrounding is its habitat. For example, if the monkey is living on a tree, so the tree can be a habitat. Habitat can be a big like desert or sea, and it can be a smaller like a tree. So it doesn't mean that habitat, what is the size of the habitat, because it is different from animals to animals. So, like camel lives in deserts. So, desert will be the habitat, and duck, for example, duck live in pond or water. So that can be a habitat. And next topic which we will discuss today about the lifestyle of the animal, that is body covering of animal, breathing in animal, feeding in animal, movement in animal, and migration. Because sometimes animals have to migrate from one place to another, which we will discuss later. The first one is body covering. As human being have hair or skin on their body, and it is the body covering. Like the other animals, they have different body covering on their body. For example, some animals, they have scales on their body. Scales, shells, feathers, and fur, wool. These are the body coverings. Okay. So first we will talk about the scales. Bodies like bodies of fish, snake, crocodile, lizards, they are covered with the scales. Fish have overlapping scales, means one scale overlap to others. So why they have overlapped scales? So that the water cannot enter into their body. All the water which go into the mouth of the fish, they come out through the gills. So scales these scales on their body, they do not allow water to enter in their body. Snakes, crocodile, they have horny scales. They have horny scales which prevent water loss from their body. What the level of the water, the maintenance of the water is necessary for the survival of the body. If the water is lost by the body, the animal will be dehydrated and it may cause death. So the level of the water should remain constant. So these scales, these horny scales on the body of the snake and crocodiles, they save them from water loss. Another is shell. Shells, animal like snail, like tortoise, turtle, they are protected by the shells. Shell is a hard outer covering which uh, save their body. For example, if they feel the danger, what happens? They just enclose their head and all the body parts into the shell, and this shell is harder, so they are saved from the danger. Shells, animal like snail, tortoise and turtle are protected by the shells. When these animals sense danger, they withdraw their head and move into the shell. Likewise, they are saved. Next is feathers. Feathers. Bodies of the birds are covered with feathers. They keep them warm, help them to fly, and protect them from rain. These feathers are working as keeping them warm and helping them to fly and protect them from rain. Another body covering is the fur and wool. Fur and wool. Fur and wool. Some animals like sheep and polar bear have thick fur on their bodies to keep them warm in cold region, because these animals are living in the Antarctic regions, and polar bear. Polar bear is living in the Antarctic region where there is a snow everywhere. So they have a thick fur on their body which keep them warm and save them from the intense cold situation. Human beings, human beings and other mammals, they have hair on their body, and these hair also protect us from the intense weather. Camouflage. Camouflage is a term. Sometimes the body covering of some animals match their surrounding. Means if they are sitting any place, there is no difference between the color of the surrounding and the color of their body. So in this way, by this camouflage, they can be saved from their enemies and from the danger. This make it difficult to spot the animal. We cannot recognize the animal. If, for example, if the polar bear is sitting in the snow, his fur is too much white like snow, and we cannot recognize that polar bear is sitting in the snow. So this some animals, they have ability to change their color, like chameleon. Chameleon change their color according to the surrounding when it feel danger. So it can be saved, and this term is called camouflage. Breathing means, camouflage means to hide in a proper way that no one can recognize you. This is called camouflage. And breathing. Breathing in animals. There are different ways of breathing. For example, if we talk about the human beings, we have two lungs, a pair of lungs in our body. These lungs are present under the chest, and the ribs protect the lungs because the lungs are sensitive part. When we breathe in, the air goes into the lungs. These lungs take the air and they are filled with the air, oxygen, because oxygen is necessary for the survival of human beings. This oxygen is filled into the lungs. When the blood comes from the heart to the lungs, this oxygen is mixed with the blood. Now the blood becomes oxygenated, means rich in oxygen. Now this blood, when this blood flows into the body, when this blood flows into the body, because first this blood goes into the heart, and heart pump the oxygenated blood to all the body parts. When this blood goes to all the cells of the body parts, they absorb oxygen and food particles, because food particles are also mixed with the blood, means blood carry oxygen from the lungs to heart, and from the heart to all other parts of the body. In this way, the lungs are helping to take in oxygen and to send it to blood. So a lot of mammals uh, and birds, they have lungs in their body which help them breathing. Birds, mammal and reptile breathe with the help of lungs. Human have a pair of lungs in the chest. We breathe through the nose. When we breathe in, our lungs expand and fill in air. The oxygen of the air passes into the blood. Oxygen is then carried throughout the body. The carbon dioxide, when it goes to the cells, it release oxygen over there, it leave oxygen over there, and excess carbon dioxide the blood absorb and send it to the lungs, and from the lungs we expel out. We exhale out the carbon dioxide. In this way, we take in oxygen and exhale out carbon dioxide through the nose as the chest contracts. Next is gills. Uh, like lungs, gills are present in the body of the fish. Fish breathe through gills. The water which goes into their mouth is not swallowed. It passes out again through the pair of the gill slit. Gills are present. These are the gills. Just see the book. See the diagram. These are gills. These are gills. And they have ability to open. When they open, the water comes out. And the fish breathe through gills. It passes, the gills slit are on each side of the body. The water passes over the gills. The blood vessels in the gills absorb the oxygen and the water passes out. Carbon dioxide is released as the same time. When the oxygen is absorbed by the gills, carbon dioxide is released into the water. And next is that the body surface or moist skin. It is present at page number 17. So come at page number 17. Body surface or moist skin. Some animals, they do not have lungs, they do not have gills, but they have pores on their body. They have small pores on their body and they breathe through these pores. So a frog is the example which breathe through its moist skin when it is in water. Frog has three ways of taking in air. Means for breathing, it has three ways. Like when it is in the water, it breathes through the skin. It breathes with the lungs when it is on land. Because when they just hatch out from the eggs, they do not have a proper lungs system, like proper breathing system. They have not mature lungs. And when they are tadpole, they breathe through gills. Means when they were tadpole, small frogs, they have gills. They had gills. When they become adult, they have lungs as well as they can breathe through moist skin. So when they breathe through lungs, when they are on land, and when they are in water, they breathe through their moist skin. Likewise, earthworm. Earthworm do not have breathing organs like lungs or gills, and it breathes through the moist skin. So the example of animal which breathe through the moist skin is earthworm and also the frog when it is in water. Spiracles. Spiracles are the small pores or holes on the whole body. And the example is cockroach and the grasshoppers. Grasshoppers and cockroaches, they have holes on their bodies. Okay, and these are called spiracles. These spiracles leads to air tubes, means they are attached with the air tubes and they breathe through these spiracles. Next is feeding in animals. Feeding in animals. Animals need food to grow, and food gives energy to stay alive or healthy. On the basis of their feeding habits, the animals are grouped into three categories. These are herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. So, herbivores. Herbivore is the category in which the animal feed on the plants and plants part. For example, cow, giraffe, deer, buffalo, horse. These are the example of animal. These are the herbivores. Herbivores are the animal who directly eat plants or grass. Plants eating animals are called herbivores. Cow, giraffe, goat, etc. are the herbivores. They have sharp incisors. Incisors are the teeth to cut plants. Herbivores have broad molars to grind and chew their food. These are like incisors and molars. These are the types of teeth. Incisors are used to cut the plants, and molars are used for chewing the food. So they have molars and like sharp incisors. That's why they can easily eat the plants and plants part. Next is carnivore. Carnivores are the flesh-eating animals, means they eat the meat of the other animals, are called carnivores. Fox, lion, tiger are carnivores. They have sharp canines. Canine is also a type of teeth. Canines are used for the tearing of the tissues. So they help to eat the flesh of the other animals. They have sharp canines to tear the flesh. Carnivores have strong molars to chew the bones. Eagles, vultures, and kite are carnivorous birds. Not only animals are carnivorous, birds are also carnivorous. They have sharp hooked beaks to hold and tear the flesh. They, as the bird have they do not have teeth, but they have sharp beaks to tear the flesh of other animals. So next one is omnivores. Omnivores are the animals who eat plants as well as animals. So animals that eat both plants and flesh are called omnivores. Crow, man, bear. These are the human beings. These are the examples of omnivores. Like crow. Crow is also the example of omnivore. They have well developed incisors and molars. Incisors and molars help them to eat hard as well as soft food. Incisors, molars, canines, premolars, these are the types of teeth. There is another category, they are called rodents. Rodents, animals like rats and squirrels, are rodents. They have sharp front teeth. They have sharp front teeth. These teeth help them to gnaw at the food. Means they break down the food into smaller and smaller pieces. This is called gnaw at the food. So such type of animal who have sharp teeth to gnaw at their food, they are called rodents. Next topic is movement in animals. The movement, because animals need to move from one place to another. When they feel danger, they move, they run, they hop, they crawl, they creep from one place to another. So for this, they need the limbs. Most of the animals, they have four limbs. Two front limbs are called uh, forelimbs, and two back limbs are called hind limbs. Means they have four limbs, forelimbs and two forelimbs and two hind limbs. See the horse at page number 18. The front two legs, they are called forelimbs, and back two legs, these are called hind limbs. Horse, cow, dog, and a lot of other animals, they have four limbs. Means the animals having four legs. These are the animals having four limbs. Use all, etc. Use all the four limbs to move. Human beings use only the hind limbs. These two legs, these are the hind limbs, and these two arms, these are the four limbs. But we human beings, we use only two hind limbs because we can stand on the two hind limbs easily. So for movement, we use two hind limbs. They stand erect with the hind limbs on the ground. Next is water animals. Water animals, they have flippers, they have tails, they have fins for the movement. The proper pair of the flippers, they help, like the turtle, they have flippers on their body. These flippers help them. These limbs are modified in the form of flippers, and these flippers help in movement. Fish have three types of fins for swimming. The paired fins help them to move forward. There are three types of fins, and unpaired fins at their body, they help the fish to keep their balance, and the tail of the fins help the fish in changing direction. So the frogs, they have webbed feet. Likewise, the duck, they have webbed feet which help them in swimming in water. Turtles, they use four paddles like flippers to swim. Insects, they have six legs, and some insects, they have the wings, but these wings are not like the wings of the birds, because these wings are very thin and delicate, and they just made up of tiny scales. So insects, they have wings to fly. Honeybees and butterflies, they have uh, like uh, they have wings to fly. Reptiles, animals like turtle, crocodile, and lizard, they have short limbs. See the turtle, crocodile at page number 19. They have small, short limbs. These limbs help them to crawl. Snake are legless reptiles. They do not have legs. They have scales on or plates on the underside of their bodies to crawl with. They have plates inside the body which help them to crawl on the ground. Birds, their forelimbs. The birds have wings. Actually, these wings are forelimbs which are modified into the wings, and on these wings there are feathers. And these feathers and wings help the birds to fly in the air. And their hind limbs are, when they walk, they use their hind limbs. Next is the last topic of this chapter is migration. Migration means to move from one place to another. Sometimes animal feel difficulty for the food. Sometimes they have to face unfavorable climatic conditions, and sometimes they need the breeding, means to produce their young ones. They have to migrate from one place to another because they feel problem in these aspects. So the seasonal movement, what is migration? The definition of migration is the seasonal movement of animals over large distances due to shortage of the food, unfavorable climatic conditions, or to breed is called migration. Page number 20. Some animals use sea and air currents to guide them. For this migration, they use the air currents or the sea currents, means the waves of the current sea. They by the help of these waves or air currents, they move from one place to another place. Birds follow the coastline to find their direction while flying. They just see the coastline, means the edge of the sea. So when they migrate, they just take help from there. And reindeer use the sun rays while migration to find out their direction. The Siberian crane is the animal who visits Pakistan every year in winter. It then goes back to Siberia during summer. They come in winter because they cannot face the weather of the Siberia in winter, and they come in Pakistan in the winter, and they go back to Siberia in summer. The butterflies. The name of the butterfly is monarch. Flies from Canada to Mexico. These butterflies move from Canada to Mexico during the winter. Fishes like eels travel in large groups to sea to lay eggs. They move from one place to another for the breeding purposes. On hatching, the parent eel dies. On hatching, the parent eel dies while the baby eel travel back to the river where their parents came from. Locusts are the insects that migrate in summer. Locusts damage standing crops in the field. See the picture which is present at page number 20. The central picture is of locust, and they damage the standing crops. The Arctic tern is the champion in migration. It breeds in the Antarctic region in the summer. It then travels a distance of 17,000 kilometers to the Antarctic during the winter, and again goes back covering the same distance. This is the reason that they are called champion. They are called champion in migration because they cover a long distance of 17,000 kilometers. So here the chapter is over. Now what you will do, you will learn all the question answers which are present in your copy, which are all the blanks, all the true false, and all the question answers like which are present on book page number 22, E part, and rest of the pages, which rest of the work which is done in your copy. You will prepare this work properly, learn this chapter properly, and prepare yourself for the midterm examination. Take care and Allah Hafiz till the next revision class.